Miss Julia,
I'm here. Howdy.
how are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
Are you? Welcome to Austin.
I know Austin's fun. I feel like when, I yelled at someone in the airport yesterday
Yeah,
and it felt so good. I feel
did
like
it.
I have like boiling Texas blood. Like you come
Yes.
here and I understand it. Like I
Yeah.
get it. I get
No.
why Texans are Texans. I yelled at someone though in Florida, not in Texas.
Well, what happened? What was the deal?
I think, well, I've been like cooped up in my house, but I forgot how crazy people are. And some lady yelled at me and I yelled right back. And it was
Yeah.
deserving, but it felt so good.
Did it? It's cleansing
I feel like I
almost.
get why, like, it feels good for you to yell at
Yeah,
people.
no. And that's why I'm in the construction industry.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but
Yeah.
it does have its benefits, right? It's just done completely different. You know, business and talking to subs it's more of an aggressive game than most businesses.
Do you
So
like
I
yell
like it.
at people all day, like contractors?
No, not necessarily. Only when needed. I was definitely more of a hothead when I was younger. I yelled a lot, and I've calmed down. I'm sure it's age, being almost 50. Either that or it's my wife bringing that yin and yang, because she's definitely the calm one. And I'm more the high strung one, the one that's a little more aggro, a little bit more aggressive. But it's pulled back over the years. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
But Texas is a cool place. I mean, I even love when I'm here and I get to see like the set studio work. Like, it's so cool for me to say, like, to stay in a set studio house.
Yeah, and that's
Because
where you are
it's,
now.
yeah, it's so different than, like, I'm from New York. I live in South Florida. I've traveled everywhere. And there's just a different energy to Austin in general, but especially in your homes.
Absolutely. And that's something we strive for, we want to be different. We want to be innovative. Unfortunately, a lot of people will copy here and there. And for instance, we do huge pivot doors, steel pivot doors. We started doing those years ago before anybody else started doing them. Now you see them on every house. So we've got to come up with new and improved ideas that kind of set us out in the market from other people. One of the last things we did was we started installing car lifts in garages, which really has not been done. And that's one of those ooh and ah factors. So, you've got to stay ahead of the game and try to throw stuff out there that people will like as well.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I feel like a lot of real estate here, you could tell what has been and then like what's coming. And that's
Exactly.
what's super exciting about what you guys do. Just you match what the consumer wants and needs. Obviously, a lot of people have moved here from California and it kind of, even your houses like kind of have that vibe, you
That little
know?
Cali vibe.
Yeah.
And Austin's a good spot that's actually a good mixture of Texas and California. I love California weather. I love it. California's beautiful. Can't stand their politics. We can go down that road all day long. Love to visit. Could never live there. I refuse to give 50% of my income to the government, let alone, at the end of the day, you've got federal and state, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna give 25% of my income to Gavin Newsom. So I think
It's
he's,
like New York. That's
yeah,
why
it's
I moved
horrible.
out.
Well, and it's ridiculous. You've got the two hotbeds in the U.S. that are just being hammered, and it makes you wonder why. I can't imagine that these leaders, governors and mayors are actually proud of what they're doing. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I spent a lot of time out in California this summer and it's so beautiful, but
It is.
it's just, and it's diverse, right? I was in Pebble Beach, I was in Napa, I was in Sausalito, San Francisco, and it's such a beautiful place, but it's sad, like the homeless, and I don't see any of that in South Florida.
Yeah.
And I got to live in South Florida. Think about this. I moved to South Florida 3 weeks before COVID started. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I saw personally, professionally, like even romantically, nothing stopped for me. I was still dating. I was still
Yep.
clubbing. I was building a book of business. I was still being able to go into meetings. And I recently went to a wedding with a bunch of people I went to high school with. And it was kind of weird. I haven't seen them since high school.
Yeah.
And I was like light years ahead, but I wasn't in New York. Nothing stopped. And I saw the injustice and like how the government handled COVID. Like in Florida, nothing stopped. I remember like one day I went and got a deli sandwich and I posted it on Instagram. I was clubbing the night before in Miami. And this is like full lockdown. I was like, COVID, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
And I went and I was a little hungover and I got a deli sandwich the next day and people ripped me on Instagram. They were like, how dare you? You're the problem. I was like, thank God I didn't post me in the club last night. I was like, you're
Yeah.
just mad that you don't get good semolina bread anymore. Like, you don't have access to it because the whole city shut down. But I feel like even with something like that, I'm so grateful that I lived in a place that allowed me to have the choice to operate on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I'm 27. I have my own business. Like I was just working. Nothing stopped for me. I didn't get halted. I had all the life experience up until now where I look at people and I feel honestly so bad. They got like gypped of like their 20s.
Yeah.
And high school kids.
Yeah. High school kids that didn't necessarily have proms or graduations that were memorable. They'll be, rememberable, or you will remember them. It's too early to come up with long words and stuff like that. My brain's just not clicking.
You didn't have a Celsius.
I know that's what it was. I am hyped up on C4 though a little bit. So with that said, these kids did get gypped. We've got kids that range in age from 18 to 21 right now, and our oldest didn't really have a prom. And graduation was small and things like that. So they got robbed. And those are times where you actually build those memories and have those memories, and they were robbed of some of those things.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up COVID. That's actually how my wife and I met you, was during that whole time period.
Yeah.
Because we were very, we were not going to stop living our lives. So when COVID hit and everything started shutting down, we found the places that were the freest. So we frequented Miami, and we often went to Vegas, where there's a little more restriction, but still you felt a little free. In Nashville. Those are places that we constantly went. But we were in line. It was New Year's Eve.
I love this.
And at a local steakhouse. I don't even remember which one.
It was STK in South Beach.
Yes.
And it was so crazy. This is where, like, when I have a bad day or I get hard on myself or something, what's for you will not go past you, because I wasn't even supposed to be there that night. Do you remember that? I didn't even have a reservation.
Yep.
I planned it for the next day, and you guys were in line behind me, and I talked to everyone. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I felt really good energy. I remember this so clearly. Bristol's so girly pop. And what I love about you guys is like, you're like looking around, you're making sure everyone's good, you're in control. And she's just in her sparkles. That's all her, like, she just has to be in her sparkles. That's it. And we started chatting, and we hit it off right away. I remember like Bristol posted a picture of us that night, and she's like, don't you love when you meet people who instantly click?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It was funny because, Bristol's allergic to seafood. Mm-hmm. And we had gotten something, I don't know, that came with like a bottle of champagne and oysters and stuff. And I wasn't necessarily going to eat it in front of her. So we had brought them over to the table, and Bristol's like, oh, Lord, they're going to think we're trying to, because you were there with your sister. Yeah. She was like, oh, Lord, they're going to think we're trying to pick them up. The old people in the so place, funny. Trying to pick them up. You're giving them oysters or something.
I think if it was any other person, I would be like, this is not okay.
This is not.
But I feel like I think that there are just some people in life that you're supposed to meet. And I feel so grateful for the both of you. I mean, I called Bristol a couple times throughout my career, because I met you guys in 2020, turning 2021, and it was just so crazy how I used her and you as a resource throughout my career as like a check-in. I think that's what's super special about you guys, is that you're not biased. I think that sometimes I get upset, managing your pages, and I see people like write like, all these crazy things about you, when you are the most open-minded, loving, fair, reasonable, no feelings, all facts, some feelings, but you and Bristol are both so even keeled that I feel so blessed to have you guys as sounding boards for my personal and professional life. And I mean, I started my business because I called Bristol from Miami, and I was like, I was having a really bad day, a really bad work trip, and I was like, I just don't think this is for me anymore. And she's like, I agree with you. Get on the phone with Mike tomorrow. And you guys gave me the confidence and the ground to leave and know I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that right now with you guys. Well, you go, but
Yeah, no, it's something you brought up. It is amazing when you actually click with somebody,
Yeah.
and you just feel that energy and stuff. And I've never had a daughter, always wanted a daughter, and I kind of look at you that way. You know what I mean? I'll be very protective. Your dad and I can interview whoever wants to marry you and things of that nature, but we got to make sure it's got to be a good person, good heart, good soul. You got to be a man. You can't be a bitch. You can't be a soy boy.
Can't own a cardigan.
You can't, yeah.
If you have a cardigan,
Yeah.
Mike has we're gonna go over my ick list today, and we're gonna add
Yes.
to my ick list of like who I can't date. Oh,
Yeah.
any guy I date has to go through you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I keep pulling you back to, we need to get you to date a Texas guy, cowboy guy that, knows how to fix shit, how to change a tire, little stuff. There's got to be a checklist that you go through when these guys, hit on you and stuff like that.
I know. I think that it would be good though too for me to kind of like slow down. I'm so New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be good to get like a guy that like could like bury a body, but like
Yeah.
like I'm so used to like a New York wise guy, but like
Yeah.
I feel like the Texan bury a body is like a
Yeah.
different kind of guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Do it a little quieter.
Yeah.
You know.
I gotta learn how to like two-step though.
Yeah, no, you definitely do.
Yeah.
That's a must. That's
Yeah.
something that we've told our boys as well, as you have to know how to dance in this state. A Texas guy can take to any state and a girl's going to be like, that motherfucker can dance.
You know what's funny? I went to a rodeo one time. I was probably like 16 or 17, and we were like, I was on vacation with one of my best friends. We went to a rodeo, and this like hot cowboy grabbed me and like did it, and
Yeah.
we were like just having fun. Like we
Yeah.
had no idea, but I remember being like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
the confidence, like
Yep.
to grab a lady and just be
Yeah.
so like calm and confident. I almost dated a guy from Texas, and
Yeah.
he you can't say his name. A lot of people know him.
Yeah.
But he punched some guy in the face one night, and I like after a date, like it was so funny. He was like walking me to my hotel door, and some guy was like coming down the hallway, and they kind of had like words in the elevator, and all of a sudden he was like, "Are you following me?" And he just like punched him square in the face, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is wrong with you?" Like, "Oh my God," and like I was
Yeah.
like, "Bye," and I like slammed the door or whatever, and I get it now. Is
Yeah.
that bad? Like Texas guys,
Yeah.
like they just don't
Well, it's respect
fuck
thing.
around.
You know what I mean? It's a respect thing. And all men want respect at the end of the day, but Texas, we demand it.
Yeah. It's the best.
And I'm sure even after you threw that fit, after you closed the door, later on you went, that was kind of hot.
That was so hot.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I ignored him for like 2 days after, because from like a logistics standpoint, I was like, you could have gotten arrested. Like, what if he had a
Yeah.
gun on him? Now I'm standing here with you. Like, I've never had anything like that happen to me. When I got on the phone with him like 2 days later, I finally answered, and I was like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, I just feel like it.
Yeah.
And I died laughing, and I was like, that is so hot. But
Yeah.
you know what? I don't think enough men punch people anymore. Is
Yeah.
that bad?
No, it's a consequence thing. We've got a society now that has no consequences. They can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. Physically abuse people, mentally abuse people, and there's been no repercussion. So it's kind of like that old saying that Mike Tyson has: everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And unfortunately, there's been a lack of consequences. So, it only takes a couple times to show the consequences can still be present.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I yelled at someone for the first time. I've never yelled at someone
Yeah.
that I didn't know in public like that. And I was like, oh, this feels so good. This is so good. Not that I'm going to start yelling or punching people.
No.
That's totally not me. But I agree. I think that like a lot of people are, get away with a lot. People just run their mouth on the
do.
internet, in real life. There's no consequences anymore.
Yeah.
And people, I even see too, like in my industry, what people comment online, I feel so bad for even celebrities. Like we get like a percentage of it. Like these people are crazy. They have nothing better to do. Remember
Yeah.
you wrote back to the guy You're like, oh, I'm sure you're writing this from like your mom's basement, like
Yeah,
dusting off your toy soldiers, like, or
yeah, I
something.
just don't understand it. At the end of the day, if you don't like something, just scroll past it.
Yeah.
Again, I have definite conservative views. However, I love to hear everybody's opinion. I love learning. I love, the fact that we are different, that's what life is about, right?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a battle with everybody. Just because I like the color blue and you like the color green, why do we have to be enemies? You can take what you want and leave the rest,
Well,
but it's sickening.
I want to debunk that. Like, something that I want to debunk about you is that you really are the most loving, open-minded person. Yes, you have strong opinions, but no, you're not going to break bread with someone who thinks the complete opposite of you.
Yeah.
And that's something that is super important. And, I do want to talk about is that you let people operate in their lane as long as it's their truth.
100%. 100%. Just because you like something that I don't, why should I hate you? I want to understand why you may like something or why you may prefer something and what your reasoning is to help educate myself. And I've just kind of always been that way. I never liked bullies. My youngest son and I were talking about that just the other day, that, when I went to school, there's always bullies, but there wasn't as much as there is now with, all this cyberbullying and stuff like that and all these keyboard warriors. It makes no sense to me that people get off on hurting other people because you have a differing opinion.
Yeah.
That's what the world is made of, is diversification. But at the end of the day, not to get political again, but the government and the powers that be continue to want to drive wedges between people because they do not want us coming together because we're extremely powerful together. They want wedges. They want division. They want us not to be close as a people because, again, that's where we get our power from.
Totally.
So, I try not to feed into it. I get, all these little keyboard warriors and stuff like that that'll run their holes. And it's fun. I think it's funny. I'm glad that I got to live in your head for a day or two. I'm glad I pissed you off because of my opinion. I don't care.
Yeah.
Again, at the end of the day, scroll the fuck on. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to learn from individuals. And if that's something you don't want, cool. Get to stepping. I don't care.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do want to learn from people. That's what we're here on this earth for. We were meant to travel this life with others, period. But again, if that's the energy you're going to bring, I don't need that.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love, like, you're like the best client for me because I know if you say something, you mean it and it's good to go. If it comes out of your mouth, like, it's trademarked, it's good.
Yeah.
But I do want to get into a little bit of like entrepreneurship and, all of that and how you've built your businesses because it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, like I joked last night, I was like, if you have a business and you were not recommended like 6 mouth guards, like your business probably isn't, doing that well. Like it is stressful. It's a lot of, having people on payroll, having to manage all the different clients' personalities, having to manage expectations, having shit just go wrong because it does. And how do you handle that? And how do you, do that? And then manage your marketing, manage your accounting, manage projecting, manage, everything that goes on. And, I'm clearly, pretty young and have a business. And I know you were super young when you started your business. And I'm grateful that, you have given me the guidance and the grace. But a lot of people don't have a mic in their corner. I'm calling them like, is this the best credit card for me to take out for my business? And you're like, yes. And you have to write this off and you have to write that off and, get the best accountant and do this. I mean, you really have mastered the ups and downs because I know you had, the bankruptcy and all these things. Like you have done it all. Where do you think that has come from, your knowledge? Is it just like School of Hard Knocks of you just going through it, or did you really have to like research it?
Most of my experience has been from the School of Hard Knocks. I didn't really have anybody that was a true mentor or a guide. I started at the age of 24. And I always, with any business that I do, I always look at everything as what's the problem and what is the solution that I'm bringing or trying to bring to the market to solve that problem. And if you can do that, and if you can explain that to yourself in a manner that truly makes sense to you and others, then the likelihood of that business succeeding, I feel, grows tenfold.
Yeah.
Then it's persistence, right? It's been forever since I've actually worked for somebody. I did do a 2-year stint for Austin Habitat for Humanity, and then I taught at the local community college as well. Both of those were a little bit more free than most jobs anyway, but I haven't worked for someone really since I was 24 years old. So it's
so crazy.
It's crazy to go back, and then a lot of people look at it and they go, everything must be tremendous. And I know that you guys have all heard this before, owning your own business must be tremendous. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can travel, you can do this, you can do that. You see the good side,
Yeah.
On Instagram. You see the good side in pictures and hear about the good side, but you don't see those fights and those daily struggles. Right now we're dealing in a ridiculously horrible real estate market, and it's nationwide. It's not just Austin. It's not anywhere. The niceness is Austin is extremely insulated, and there's other markets that are doing a lot worse. So we're extremely blessed to be in a market that is insulated, but we are affected, And as a business owner with investors and projects and things like that, it's never the problem. It's always a solution. And my motive and my goal every time I do business with investors is to make sure I shield and protect their interests. We've got a lot of builders and developers in town that have lost their ass. They bought land too high, they built for too much, and they cannot profit on the sale, and they are losing their asses. When that started happening and interest rates started going up, we pulled back a little bit. We started paying debt off with projects just to make sure that we were shielded, because I wanted to, protect myself and protect our investors. And with that said, I wasn't going to chase the market and everybody else who made mistakes and bought things too high and built too much. And for the true market, I wasn't going to chase them. So we pulled the house off the market and we're going to rent it and just kind of wade the storm out. I think it's going to get better in the next year or so. I think the Biden administration will, attempt to lower interest rates to go, look what we did, fuck the whole system up, and then come back a little bit and say, oh, look what we fixed, when you really didn't do shit. And we're still worse off than we were when they came into office. That's going to happen. It's even like the stock market's starting to do a little bit better. Interest rates have crept down a little bit, and now they're screaming, oh, look at all the, people that are getting hired and stuff like that. Well, those people were never replaced back from COVID. So, companies are starting to hire a little bit, but it's a false narrative that they're pushing. You ask anybody in a grocery store how they're doing economically, versus 4 or 5 years ago, and it's ridiculous.
Eggs are $9 a carton. I feel like anyone
insane.
knows me always is like, I'm like, all right, guys, like we have to do this. Like we have to afford eggs. Like I joke about it. Like it's like a luxury now to get like organic eggs. Like it's $9
It's
a
insane.
carton. And I think to myself, like, how are the people that have kids that work a normal job? I mean, I worked in litigation finance for basically my entire career, and I dealt with backwoods people like in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, like places that they don't even have bank accounts. They live paycheck to paycheck, and then they get injured and they don't have any room to even get treated. It's so horrible. And when I go to bed every night and I do like my little like prayer and gratitude, I think about those people. I'm like, how are they affording life? I think it's like 78% of America doesn't even have $3,000 in like an oh shit account. Like something happens. I mean, it is so scary to think about it and just how expensive things are. I had an Uber driver the other day and I was like, oh, like, is this all you do? And she's like, no, I work 4 jobs. And I was like, what? And she's like, it's so crazy. She's like, I have 4 kids and things are just so expensive. And she's like, she's like, I have to go to the dollar store to buy food now. She goes, but I won't like jip on like my paper towels and my toilet paper. She's like, those are my luxuries, And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like I'm heading to the Boca Resort right now. Like, and you have to go to the dollar store. Like, how does that even make sense?
Yeah.
But if I had, 4 other mouths to feed, maybe I would have to, go to the dollar store too and not Whole Foods.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's, there's a lot that we just don't see, right? And that's the sad part. And part of being an entrepreneur, that hits you as well.
Yeah.
Being someone that had started a business early on, got hit hard, had investors bail on me at the last minute, leaving me with, tons of debt, at an early age, as you mentioned before, brought me to my first and only bankruptcy. And I refused to ever do it again, but I learned a ton. I was in my 20s, early 30s, and had, again, a bunch of investors just tuck tail and run and left me with the bag on everything. Education, school of hard knocks, that's how I've actually learned. And with that said, I paper everything now, and I wish that we lived in a society that you could just, live by honor and a handshake contract, but unfortunately you just can't anymore.
No.
And that's a sad world to live in. We do a lot of business with a lot of friends. And I do that for a specific reason, because I know you, right? And a lot of the projects that we do are long. A project can take a year, sometimes 2 years to build. And in that, it's a marriage, and you've got to understand and know that person that you're working with and working for during this process. And so I'm super picky about the customs that we take on and the work that we do for other individuals because of that, That's a little bit about me. I want to know why you are in the industry that you're in. And
good question.
yeah, what brought you there?
So it's so funny. So I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I always knew from like a young age that I wanted to be the voice for people who didn't have a voice. Clearly I'm loud. Clearly I'm from Long Island. And clearly I don't take any shit. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. Then I started working with lawyers and was like, hard no, absolutely not. I will not be a lawyer. But then it kind of shifted into me realizing that my superpower is putting other people in their superpower. And I had, again, the mentorship, the confidence, and the knowledge to kind of break into this industry because I really saw a need. I saw if you don't have a personal brand right now, your competitor does. Like, it is the new business card. It's the new way to connect with people. People don't even want to call you anymore. They want to go to your page and they want to scroll. We live in a scroll society now. And there's two parts of it. It's one part of it, the content that, we make is, for legacy, but the other part of it is to convert into business, whether it's investors having eyes on you, whether it's sales, whether it's just, your keynote speaking and you want a proper platform for people to follow up with you. I mean, if you don't have professional content being done now, it is not, your competitor does. And something that why I really got into the industry and what does make me different is I'm a consultant that focuses on marketing. I'm a salesperson. I only do what works and I make it pretty. Where I find that a lot of the, marketing companies, they were just ripping people off. They were just like putting things out there that looks cute and it wasn't converting into anything. Or it was so diluted that people want to work with people that they like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
putting the people in front of the camera and have them speak about everything that they feel, their business, tell their story, tell their, hard times, tell their bad times. It's like when you go on a first date and you're like, here it all is, take it or leave it, that works. Especially now where, you used to be able to put out a shingle and the business would come in. Doesn't work anymore. If you don't have every platform optimized, people aren't going to be able to find you and connect with you in the way that they need to decide if you're right for them.
100%. And in being someone personally that does a business that I know backwards and forwards, you're always going to learn something, but that's not my forte. It never has been my forte. But I understand that you hire and you work with people that do things that are better than you. And that's how you succeed, is understanding that you can't do everything by yourself and you need those individuals to come in and kick ass and help you in those areas that you lack in. And I know that was one of the reasons. Well, the first reason was you are so personable. And we just had such a connection from the get-go. And that's something that you want to see from a branding standpoint, from an advertising standpoint, because that's what you want, right? And so we've been extremely happy with the work that you've done with us, you know, on a business level. Personal level is completely separate, but business level, you've been tremendous. So the energy and the look and the everything that you've brought to us has been tremendous. So, and I'm having fun doing it in the
Thank
meantime too.
you. I think it's exciting because I also think that, just you are such an entrepreneur and you really could see the value in things before they happen. And I think that everything that's happened to you in your career is like you have full radar on everything that's going on. And I know that you were like, no, this is something that I want to do because you kind of saw the landscape of, Austin, all these amazing, thought leaders, podcasters are here, and you dove into it, and it has been great. And just seeing you even get more comfortable in front of the camera has been an honor. Working with you has been an honor. The fact that the boys will be able to hit play on you guys one day, like that, to me, like I could cry, like
Yeah.
that. It's so funny because there's like business me where it's like, okay, we need to do this, and then this needs to convert, and then this is what the people want to see. And then the other side of me is like I throw in questions that I never will post because I want to keep it close to the vest. I
Yeah.
have the honor when I'm sitting in front of you, or I'm sitting in front of my other clients. It's like, how fucking cool is it that I get to like record someone's legacy, like archive it?
Yeah. I've never looked at it that way.
It is such an honor. It's like a time capsule because life is so fleeting. Everything could change at a second. And I get to put everything in one place. I mean, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
from a personal standpoint, it's like when I have hard days, like this morning, it's been crazy. It's like 7 a.m. here, and I'm just screaming at my team and things aren't going out right. And that sometimes happens, right? And I don't have a lot of those days. So when I have those days, it's not good because
Yeah.
this is probably the third time in having my business that I've had a day like this where it's just not, it's so minuscule and making it sound like a big deal. But I kind of have to like roll it back to be like, you cannot be stressed out about this right now. That is not what matters. What matters is that we are archiving legacies. Their family, their kids, potential investors, friends are going to be able to hit play on all this stuff.
Yeah.
And your thoughts. It's like a library of your thoughts and your feelings and kind of where you're at. I mean,
And you're going to have those days that are easier than others, and those that aren't easy, that's where you grow, just like anything in life, right? And it goes back to that whole, it's never the problem, it's always the solution. Shit's always going to happen. And, even with a lot of our employees, they know, do not come to me with a problem without several solutions, and then let's figure out what solution is best. But I am not going to be your problem solver. I want to empower you to be that problem solver, and we can go over it together. That I'm huge in empowering employees and in those that I work with and around, because I want to bring them to their fullest potential, just like I would request they do the same of me.
Yeah.
Business is a constant learning game, especially with the market continuously changing.
Yeah.
And you have to be nimble. You have to be flexible to shift with the market. And, with that comes diversification, right? For years, all I did was just build houses and sell them. Now we started to build and hold and maintain ownership and turn some of these houses into legacy properties that we have reoccurring income for years on with little to no debt on. Just several of the different businesses that we're investing in on purpose, because we know how much diversification counts. And those are the things that I think you'll be running into, as your time period goes on as well, because you'll be able to see some of these things from the outside and understand what you can and cannot get involved in.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like being able to help someone make that next step, or follow their dream, or help be a mentor to someone else. And that's where life starts getting good.
Yeah, I think that you and I have a very similar management approach. Like for me, I'm the same way. I always said, like, I'm not a regular boss, I'm a cool boss. And that could be, and it has been perceived poorly. I had a business partner that was like, don't be like that. But for me that works. It's okay that it didn't work for her. It works for me because think about someone you don't like. What do you want to do for them? Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so good to the people that work for me. It's definitely not a normal culture. In terms of same with you, with
Yeah.
your team. It's like it's a family. And I think that a lot of times that could be misconstrued as like a toxic work environment. We're a family with boundaries. Like,
Yeah.
I will not bother you before 9 a.m. I will not bother you after 5 p.m. Like, if it's a beautiful day and you want to go to the beach and go to yoga, go do that. As
Yeah.
long as the work gets done on time, I do not care. Like,
100%.
life is too short, And I've definitely created that flexibility, and there has to be a boundary. But again, for you, looking at you and the way that you have ran your business as an investor and as someone that works closely with you, watching you be able to navigate your business and how well run it is and how responsible everyone is. Cassidy with the money, everything is so on point. And I am grateful that I got to take a peek to your business and watch you know things can't always be done one way. It isn't always black and white. And I think what's interesting in your space, again, if someone who's looking and investing in real estate and into a person, you don't want to go with the person who just thinks one way. And I think a lot of times, I've worked with people in construction. One of my other mentors, she's in construction. She gets on the phone and she's crazy with these people. And then she'll be like, oh, like, you want to go have a cocktail? I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you right now? Like, what was that? Like,
Yeah.
that was crazy. But again, it's like, she won't take no for an answer. And I think a lot of people in your space are pretty headstrong. And it's interesting because I think I know you're headstrong enough to get shit done, but you're not headstrong enough to change the plan to make shit work. And I think watching you navigate now this new market and all of that, everyone should be putting their money into Sett Studio right now because they know they're going to get the return. I mean, it's insane what you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, and we're very blessed to be doing it, and this is something that I hope in the future that we'll be able to teach individuals as well. There's certain things, if you can always lean in work doing what you will be successful. I grew up, and I'm going to say grew up, my very first job one of them was at Home Depot. So I grew up in the building materials and building industry. And I always loved it. I always loved the creativity. I loved seeing something be built from nothing. And if you can, if your work is what you love, you're going to be successful. And with that said, I've learned a ton, right? Not everything is a grand slam. But I'll take several singles and doubles all day long. I'll take those RBIs. But again, I'm one of the older fellas now in Austin that's been building for the length of time that I have. You'll see builders come and go. They'll be around for 4 or 5 years and they just drop off the face of the earth, and it's just from learning and it's from diversification. And what I have found is if I keep my mind closed, that's when I fail. But when I keep it open, that's when I win. And because I'm taking in advice and taking in knowledge from other individuals that I may not have, and that's what I thirst for. But with that said, I'm all about protecting, my investors and their money and making sure that their asset or their cash is protected at all times, that we've always got good leverage on things. And that's important, even in a bad market. We've got, again, this house that we're trying to sell, and we have investors that have money in it, but I'm not going to lose them money. And even though they may not be happy with having that money in hand now, they will ultimately make more just by holding toe. And at the end of the day, no one's making money really in the stock market or anywhere else. They're not making any more real estate. It's not going away. All billionaires own real estate. Most millionaires do as well. The difference between millionaires and billionaires is billionaires typically invest more in different areas. They become those angel investors. They become, those people. But real estate is something that will always hold true. And if there's a way that you can do it with little to no leverage, it's a no-brainer. And that's what we're building a business around, is taking those ideas, coming up with that problem, and trying to figure out a solution. Right now, there's a ton of cash on the sideline. A lot of investors are, everybody's scared. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going to happen. So there's a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. They don't want to invest in the stock market. Some do crypto, some don't, but they're scared at this point.
Yeah.
But the truth is the money sitting in the bank, in their bank accounts, is depleting by the day because the U.S. dollar is depleting and dropping
So
like
scary.
nobody's business. But if you sink that into real estate, it will always hold true and it will always produce an income. So those are things that I'm getting investors to look at as well, because I want to be that problem solver. Because at the end of the day, your cash sitting in the bank's not going to do anything for you.
And I also think too, like, you guys have it down so pat. Like, I remember I said to one of my buddies that like comes to Austin a decent amount. I was like, I would totally live here. And he's like, Julia, you would never live in Austin. Like, like keep it weird. You're not like that. Like, you're not really an Austin girl. And I was like, I could totally be here. I have a Sun Life Organic. I have the Collective. I have, a Ritzy. Like, I have that. And it has the best energy. It's the best vibe. And it's never going to go down here. I mean, the climate's great. The food is amazing. And I'm from New York. Like, I know good food. The food is better in Austin. I'll put my money on it.
Yeah.
100%. Like, it's so good. It's so different. And I think it's a no-brainer. And I'm excited, for the right people to come in and invest, because I don't think everyone deserves, honestly, to be a part of it, because you guys have it down pat and you are happy to collaborate with everyone, but it's a done deal. I mean, you guys have a great product in a great location and you guys are awesome to collaborate with. And it's like, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Austin's a city where shit's gonna work. It isn't like you're putting your money into New York where it's a disaster and everyone's getting out, or California, or anywhere. It's like Austin's like this safe little bubble. It's so cool.
Yeah. And that's the only place we invest in, is places that are like Austin. It's kind of funny. I joke about it, but it's true. We won't go and invest in places that don't have a heavy food game. You've got to have good food. We're foodies. We like to eat, and my wife and I, that's like number one. It's got to be walkable. It's got to be insulated in some way, shape, or form. There's got to be that protective bubble. That's why we picked Nashville. Nashville's tremendous. It's got that culture. It's got that food. It's got the nightlife. Everybody wants to be there. So why would you not invest in things like that? I want protection in my investments. And I also want several ways out of investments. I think too many individuals on too many different occasions have only gone into a product or a sale with one exit. And that's your first mistake. If you can't come up with several different exits, maybe it's something you shouldn't do. That's the protectiveness that we take into account when we do a project. I've got to have several outs.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I think that I've seen it. Like, I've seen the, decks, and I've read through everything, and it just makes so much sense. And I get excited when I'm here. I mean, the energy is like no other. Like, there's so many different entrepreneurs. There's so many people moving into this city. Like, there's so many different layers to even, like, you sit at a bar and like one side of you is like a billionaire, and then the other guy sitting on the other side of you just got off of a job site.
Mm-hmm. And they're both dressed the same.
And they're both dressed the same. And it's like, okay, this is cool, and it's kind of central to even fly in and out of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I come from Florida. It's like a 2-hour, 30-minute flight. And then you're in Vegas in like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Like, it's like you kind of could be anywhere. I love Austin. I'm excited.
Yeah, we may just need to get you in Texas in general.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll meet a nice Texan.
Yeah.
So if you live in the Texas area and you're compatible with a Libra, give me a call. No, I'm kidding.
Taking applications, they have to go through me first, then they go to her dad, and then they
literally
go from there.
My dad's such a girl dad. He's like, everyone's cool. Like, my dad's like, we need you. Like, I think just you.
Yeah.
My dad's like, my girls are smart. They don't make bad decisions, which you need to fact check that. Yeah.
No.
Made a couple bad choices.
Couple.
But no, I think it's super exciting. And I think that, one more thing I really want to touch on with this is, with this level of growth that you guys have, kind of had, and even though there's a lull in the market right now, there's always room for opportunity. Who would be someone who's like a perfect investor for this project? I mean, because it's kind of new in the sense of, you guys have been doing it all here, with friends, with family. The money's always stayed kind of like in-house. But now there's such an opportunity to grab up land, and no one does it better than you guys in just terms of like specking it out, making sure the comps are right, making sure that the house and the property that's on it is appropriate and fits the needs of every single person that would want to live in it. What is like a perfect investor? Like for you guys, like who do you see as someone that would be game on this?
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you start talking about investors and, LLCs and limited partners and things like that. Not all money is good money, and I've learned that the hard way. Not all investors are good investors. Just because they have money does not mean that they're going to be a good partner to you. And that's something that I've learned over the years. A good investor for us is someone who understands real estate, truly understands real estate and the appreciation that can happen with real estate and the protection that real estate offers you. Someone that wants reoccurring income, who wants mailbox money, who wants to have a legacy or a portfolio of something that they can pass down through generations. Although I would love you to know real estate inside and out, I'm fine if you don't. That's what we do. We've been doing this for well over 25 years, and we understand real estate, and we understand markets and what happens in markets when markets go down. It's all a matter of how you treat and how you shift and how you diversify when those things happen. So we love like-minded people, those that are, excited about new things and new adventures. And again, those that can entrust with us to trust and do the best things with their funds and protect them. Those are the people that we really want.
Yeah, I love it. It's so exciting just to watch it all and to be here and to see it. Like I didn't fully get it until I came here.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that you get in this city and you understand it. And I still have to get you to Nashville because I'm telling you, if you step off that plane, you'll just get it. You'll just get it.
I'm so excited.
It's a vibe. It's a feeling. It's, an environment that you just feel welcome and you feel comfortable in. Austin gives that.
Well, it's foolproof because there's a little bit of something for everything. Like I honestly don't even know if South Florida is like the best place to be because really the only things I get to do there, drink, eat, beach.
Yeah.
Drink, eat, beach. What else do you really do in South Florida? Drink, eat, beach, boat.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it. We're here, we passed and I see people like paddle boarding in the, lake. And then there's people that are, in the mountains, hiking, like everything you could think of is here.
Yeah. And it's huge with the health and wellness industry too. And that's what's pretty awesome as well, is to see that explode and, to be a part of a gym like the Collective, which Men's Health Magazine just named it top gym in the U.S. So which is super awesome, and it came from great minds that took, the best things from all different gyms and all different areas in that health and wellness industry and put them all under one roof.
Well, that's what I just realized too, like me being so sick for 2 months and not knowing what's wrong with me. I've always been kind of the one to pick up on trends first, right? Like I moved to South Florida 3 weeks before COVID. Everyone's like, how'd you know how to do that? Right? And I'm like, I didn't. It was just I'm always kind of been ahead of the curve in like a witchy way. And me being so sick with like this undiagnosed situation, I wish I had like a Collective near me to like jump in a cold plunge, jump in an infrared sauna, red light therapy, like everything that you guys have here. Sun Life Organics. I had to drive down to Miami to go and get a smoothie because my body was craving it. It's so insane how accessible putting your health and wellness is at the forefront in Austin. And it really isn't. For New York, forget about it. There's like a deli on every corner. They're going to feed you like bagels and like shitty coffee and you're just going to be happy.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm so afraid with where, even companies are trying to shortcut ingredients, what we're putting in our body. Because I thought I'm like one of the healthiest people. I work out every day. I eat really well. I'm not really like a sweet tooth girl. And I was down and out for like 2 months for God knows what. And I think that a lot of people, if they're not in a central location where health and wellness is at the forefront, they're going to be fucked.
100%.
Fucked.
100%, because they are putting stuff in our food. You know, they've been poisoning us for years, and I think we're starting to see a lot of it now.
Yeah.
You know, a little poison over a long period of time is a lot of poison.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really interesting to understand and have individuals around us that understand health and wellness, how your body can rebuild itself through fasting, through diet, through exercise, through certain medical treatments, things like that that are typically more natural and lack the pharmaceutical background, which is tremendous. That's the other thing I love about the gym. You know, we do our full medicals there. You know, they act as your general physician, and we get full-blown blood panels. And the thing that's nice is your doctor can talk to your trainer, who can talk to your dietitian, who can talk to your chiropractor. It's all under one roof, and they take health and wellness very seriously. And that's something that we have started to implement in our houses. You know, we've got steam saunas, infrared saunas. We set everything up now to accept a cold plunge. I'm not putting cold plunges in all houses yet because not everybody's on that train. However, cold plunging is tremendous and does wonders for your body. But it's things that we want to do because you spend most of your life in your house. So you should have a lot of those things there, but also have a place like the Collective to go to get that education on what else and how you can expand that.
Yeah, and if you can't have a house to have it, like that was my biggest thing is, you know, if you just look at top performers and, you know, you have, Gary Brecka, you have David Goggins, you have all these people. And what I've really learned in the last 2 months of like this mystery kind of illness where no one knows what's wrong, and I'm getting blood panels and I have all these things, but the regular doctors are gaslighting me. They're like, you're just young, you're just stressed out, it's just stress, like, but here's like the craziest medication you could take and go for walks. What? Yeah. And then I'm blessed that I have like a shaman and then a functional holistic doctor that I have the honor to go to because I could afford it. But I have all these different options, and it's so crazy to me. Like my holistic doctor is saying everything that the Collective is saying, right? Like go in the infrared sauna, get red light in, do breathing exercises. The cold plunge is great for that, right? Get in cold plunges, take these supplements. What about peptide? Like they're going through the list of what I know you've already been doing for years. And it is so awesome that you guys are building homes with all of the right resources in it, because I think with the 5G and what we're eating and what we're doing, you know, why is everyone getting sick now?
Yeah, it's rampant. That, and have you also seen the articles of dogs getting sick?
The dogs are, I don't know. I think something's funky. Something's 100% about to come down the pipes, I think. Because I think, again, I'm quick to trends. I think whatever, I mean, for the pain that I was in at 27 years old, I mean, I thought I was going to die. So you think about someone who's 67 getting that, if they don't have the resources, what actually made me feel good was not taking this crazy, I took the stuff that the guy gave me and half my fucking face went like paralyzed, right? Yeah. Prescription. And I'm not even that girl, but I was in so much pain. It's like, you're helpless. You can't even think straight. What helped me was just old school vitamins, sun, sauna, cold plunge.
100%.
Breathing.
You know, I almost think doctors have to know that.
100% they do, but it's all free.
Yep.
You could get in cold water. You could go out in the sun. You could have some red light therapy. You could, eat the right foods. I mean, I even know if I drink a water bottle now out of plastic, I could taste it.
Really?
I switched. My holistic doctor was like, you have to switch to glass in cans. Yeah. And I switched to glass, and it was so crazy because remember I was here and like my whole face was dry. My lips were dry. Everything was dry. I switched to glass. I got IV. I was getting IVs. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? I need IVs. I need all this stuff because I feel so dehydrated. I switched to glass, water, sick. Feels so much better.
Really?
100%. I will never, there's things now that are non-negotiables once you go down the rabbit hole of actually learning about this stuff and how much the phone affects you, and then you have your Wi-Fi going and you have your this going and you're, on your phone and you're being, our brains aren't even able to absorb all the information that we're absorbing. I mean, even someone tried to say like, 60 years ago, no, 20 years ago, we didn't have half the shit running through our brains like we do now. And it's like we have to have the places like the Collective and, live in cities where health and wellness is number one. Like we always made fun of LA, right? Because we're like, yogi, 100%. Meditation, I have to ground, I have to, I think they had something right with it
It made sense.
because they prioritized the time to be okay. And I think that Austin is a great place if you are a young entrepreneur, and let's just say you made your money in Bitcoin and you're like, oh, I don't know what the next best move is. Put it into Austin, invest in, these locations where being a top performer, you have all the resources to be a top performer.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. It's something that if you live longer, you can enjoy life longer. There's nothing, it's horrible to be sick, and unfortunately, the pharmaceutical industry just wants to shove a pill down your throat, and then you've got to take these 5 others to help with the side effects that original pill, you took cost. When in reality, everything we have to heal ourselves is around us, But if doctors started pushing that, it would kill the pharmaceutical industry. My whole thing is if it grows out of the ground, it was meant to be used, and it's really interesting even hearing about microdosing and mushrooms.
The best. Everyone should be microdosing. I truly believe that. I never did drugs. I always felt like if I did anything, like my mom and Jesus would show up and like rip me out of a place. Like I swear to God, I feel like my parents invested too much into us to ever do the wrong thing. Like I always put my shopping cart back. I always put my seatbelt on, never got a tattoo. I'm terrified of my parents, but in the best way. It's out of respect.
Yeah.
Never did drugs. I got acquainted with a lot of people in the, psychoceutical space, the psychedelic space. And I was like watching them for a year and they're like microdosing. And they're like, do you want some? And I'm like, oh, no, I'll stick to champagne. I'm terrified. I'm like, I'm not taking that shit. My mom said if you take that, you like jump off a bridge. Like literally, like you will jump off a building, your skin will melt, the whole thing. It is such a misconception around microdosing. And actually, a lot of the lawyers that I worked with microdosed every single day. They took mushroom capsules. And again, I thought it was crazy. So the first time I microdosed, again, I was expecting to get like a little weird. Oh my God, it is the exact opposite. You get more screwed up on 2 cocktails than you do on a microdose. When you drink alcohol, it brings you out of your body. When you do like a small microdose or anything like that, it brings you back into your body and you become more conscious and you become more aware, and it makes your brain work better. I mean, I have the privilege of being friends with, 2 major thought leaders in the space that now are, Zappy got Lamar Odom sober through this stuff, Jordan Belfort, sober, and, again, has given advice and has consulted with top people on how it could make you be a top performer. I mean, even the lawyers I worked with in random places like Chicago, like they're microdosing all day. It puts you on path to just be in yourself. It is because you never did it, right? You never microdosed.
No. And it's something I'm very curious about, some of the supplements that I take do have like cordyceps mushrooms and things of that nature. And I've studied it quite a bit. And I want to. Anything that can make my brain work at a more optimal degree is I'm in,
Yeah, I recommend it to everyone. And again, it's a scary concept if you're conditioned like I was, that like drugs are bad and don't take anything and don't do anything and whatever. And I mean, the only time I would say the most like profound moment that I had on mushrooms, and I feel like it's a part of the human experience, and I'm gonna sound like a hippie weirdo freak right now, but anyone that has done it or has experienced this, and again, you're not like seeing trees talk to you, like it's not this like crazy like in movies where like the walls are melting. I mean, I'm sure there's other things where you could take a lot that will happen. But the craziest thing that had happened to me was I was in a really bad place. I went through a bad breakup. I had just all this stuff going on in my life, and I was so overwhelmed. And I was on my friend's yacht in Miami, and we took some, and I just was like, let me take like one more little square of chocolate, And I got in the water, and I was like, oh my God, I am water. Like, you realize that what's happening to you isn't happening to you. It's like you are a part of this collective, and you drop a rock in a bucket and the ripple is insane. You drop a rock in an ocean, there's like no ripple. And you realize that the things that are happening around you and to you is just like a part of the experience, and you can't get that caught up. It like dissolves your ego.
Wow.
It's one of the, and I needed that at that time. I mean, I was like in my head, I was going crazy. Like it was so crazy. And then I had that experience where I'm literally in water and I'm like, oh my God, there's no difference between me and water. I think it's like a part of the human experience that you need to feel that feeling to understand that is just it. You can't take anything too seriously. Like it's all a journey. It's all happening to you, you know, or for you, not to you. And, you know, it's one of those things where think about drinking alcohol. You turn on the TV, it's a commercial for this, it's a commercial for that. You go to a bar, everyone's getting like fucked up. Do you have a feeling like that? If anything, alcohol makes your problems worse. It doesn't make it better. You know, and again, I'm seeing it now with all of my different friends. They own all these psychedelic companies. I mean, even Zappy, who you've met, like he's out in Malibu right now as the director of consciousness for a place. They're implementing ketamine and TMS treatments, which now you're going to see are going to go viral because the efficiency of it is just insane. It's curing people with PTSD that typically they were just giving a drug for. You have like 6 sessions and like you're good to go. I mean, I will tell you, after I did that like mushroom trip, I remember like the next day I was like just in such a state of calm. I was like, I'm safe, I'm good, like everything is good.
That's incredible.
But up until that point, it was like, I was probably, honestly, in hindsight, I was probably depressed, but too proud to admit it because I'm such a happy person and I'm grateful for everything. But you go through some shit that really knocks your brain off and yourself off. And, you know, life is hard. And something Zappy always says is that, you know, if you are not affected by everything that is going on right now, you are literally a sociopath.
100%.
If you could like look at your phone and see what's happening in Israel and, you know, just turn on the news, drive down the street, see what's happening, go to the supermarket, see a woman not being able to afford her groceries. If you could live in this life at this stage and not have like PTSD, especially after COVID, you're a sociopath.
100%.
You have to, and I think if you look at Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, they're all microdosing.
Oh yeah.
Anyone that's a top performer is already on the bandwagon. Girl math is so fucking real. Do you believe in girl math?
I do, after I've seen it. When I originally saw it, I was like, what are they talking about? And then when they started going into stories, it totally makes sense.
I bought the most expensive pair of shoes because I knew I was going to my parents' house for like 5 days.
And what was your reasoning behind that?
I wasn't going to go out to eat and spend money on food. So let's just say it was going to be like $400 worth of like meals.
Yeah.
I subtracted that from the price of the shoes. And then I was like, okay, this makes sense.
So you justified it.
Oh, my girl math is always mathing.
That is hilarious.
Like I will go and look at things like that. Like cash doesn't count.
Yeah.
Cash totally doesn't count. Cash, if you give me cash, it's like Monopoly money. It's like funny money to me.
Really?
100%. I cannot have cash. I learned that the hard way. And I will girl math things so hard where I'll be like, oh, like I didn't drive yesterday. So like I didn't spend money on, you know, 93 gas. So I could totally buy these 3 lip glosses that I don't need. Like the way that the women, that's why like if we do have to, if they put us girls in like the army, like that's what I was saying to you before. Like the memes of the women, like should I text them back and the girls like looking at the phone and like the tank is driving over like another tank. Like I just said I don't know how to put the camera on the gimbal. Like imagine if I have to like load shit up.
Yeah. In lives are in your hands.
I would not know.
It wouldn't be good.
Absolutely not. I can't even like with even my car now, like it beeps all the time. I get so overstimulated. Like no.
You don't want to deal with
I
that.
was trying and I'm handy. Like my dad taught us how to be handy.
Yeah.
I was putting together like a vacuum the other day, like came in like pieces. And I just didn't have the patience for it and I was like, what the fuck? You know, imagine if like it was like I don't even articulate like what the hell?
Yeah. So we've got to get you more comfortable around that stuff.
100%.
So while you're here, we are going to take you to the gun range.
We're going to shoot some guns.
We're going to shoot some shit. Put
I'm
some holes
excited.
in paper.
Yeah.
Make some noise.
Yeah.
We
Yell
gotta
at,
take you
yell
down
at
that road.
people.
Yell at people. Yeah, you can yell in there as much as you want too, because everybody has headphones on.
I think that everyone, I don't even care if you're like a normal human being. I didn't think I had mental illness until I yelled at someone and I felt so much better. So now you come to Austin, you eat things off the bone, you shoot some guns, and you yell.
Yeah.
You will leave a different person.
100%. It's therapy.
It's therapy.
It's therapy.
Like, I feel like people are actually healthier that way. Like, if you look at the
Exactly.
serial killers, they're the quiet ones.
I know. 100%. They keep that shit in. Those are the ones you have to watch out
And then
for.
they snap.
Yeah. It's just not good for anybody.
No.
You know?
But the girl math thing is so real. I'm telling you, my girl math calculator, like I said something to my dad the other day and he's like, that was so irresponsible, Julia, because it was like a girl math theory.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just don't get it, Dad.
Yeah.
You just don't get it.
You just don't. Yeah.
He's
don't have
like,
to go
how
with
did
that.
you come up with that reasoning? And I was like, it just makes sense to me. Like, what do you mean? You have to think about, like, it's so fucked up.
You know, the other one too that I find kind of comical is if something's on sale and you guys buy
Doesn't
more
count.
of it, well, it's like, well, I saved money.
100%.
But you still bought it. But I saved money. And so I bought two.
Well, that was
Because
me.
it was on sale.
Yeah, that was me in Saks with the shoe sale.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if these pairs were this amount, but now they're on sale for this amount, I could buy two of these for the price of one.
So you're
Oh
getting
my
bonus.
God. And then it turns into invisible money. Then
So
it
then
like
it was
evens
cash.
its way
Oh.
out. No, then it just like cancels its, like if I buy anything on like a good sale,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't even count as me spending money. Like if I double down on something,
Yeah.
like let's just say a pair of shoes is $1,000.
Yeah.
And they're on sale for 500.
Uh-huh.
And then you buy two for 1,000.
You got
That
double your money.
1,000 is like just like it doesn't even. It's like a deal.
It
It's
was
like
a bonus.
It's like fake money at that point. It's like it took the value of the money away. It took the power of it away. I'm telling you, it's girl
It
math.
just happens.
Yeah.
You know, see, you can't talk to Bristol about shoes because she has so many shoes. And that's the thing. I even said, okay, well, let's do a deal. You get a pair of shoes, you have to get rid of 5. And she was like, well, you know, I really like all my shoes, so maybe we can come up with a different deal. I mean, we have shoes in the garage that
saw
she
that.
has never worn or she's worn once, but she's like, but I wear them with this one outfit. I mean, it's insane. Our closet, there's shoes, she's taken over everything.
I don't even think you have a part of that closet. Like
I
I've
don't-
been in your closet.
It's squeezed so
It's
much.
Just it's the happiest place on earth.
I mean,
Bristol's closet is the happiest place on earth. It's just like sequins and colors and Gucci and everything good in life.
I know. I mean, and she just, yeah, she's a Christmas ornament a lot of times, you know. Sometimes she's
She's a
you know,
disco ball.
but she is though. But that's just how she always is. It doesn't, you know, it's rare to see her not dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
It really is.
She's
you know?
so girly pop. It's funny. She asked me last night. She was like, "Oh, do you like put up a tree?" And I was like, "I have no room." And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my God, I forgot. Like your closet's packed out like mine." And she's like dying laughing because
Yeah.
she gets it. She's like, "I wouldn't have a Christmas tree either if I didn't have the room to store." It's
Yeah.
either Christmas tree decorations or shoes.
Yep.
She was like, "Totally. I totally get it."
Yep.
She was like dying laughing.
Yep, she's got that whole thing too. She doesn't like wearing things unless it's like casual gear. You know, if it's yoga pants and workout stuff, she's fine with that. But she does not like wearing the same thing twice.
So I get that. So this is like my uniform. That's why I
Yep.
purposely wore it. I literally have a uniform. I have 2 big drawers filled with this outfit.
Uh-huh.
It's an Aritzia, and people must think I'm like dirty or something. I thought about that. I wore that brown workout set yesterday because I'm like, God, I think I have to like switch my brand up a little bit. I think people think like I'm just like reusing everything.
Yeah.
Every single time I go to the mall, I buy 2 more pairs of black
you
leggings.
well, and
It's just girl math. I'm
Yeah.
at the mall. I
Yeah.
spent gas to get here. I might as well get 2 more pairs.
Yep.
It is disgusting. It's my uniform. I wear a Yankee hat or now an NVN group hat.
Yeah.
I wear a workout jacket, black sports bra, black leggings,
That's
sneaks.
it. It makes
Done.
it easier.
I don't have to
doesn't it?
think. It's like my Steve Jobs.
That's yeah, and Zuckerberg did the same thing too, didn't he? Sweatshirt, same sweatshirt or whatever.
You don't have
constantly.
to think about it. I'm literally in the house. And even when I lived in New York, I wore a black turtleneck, a good pair of jeans. When Gucci belts were cool, Gucci belt
Yeah.
and a good shoe. And that was
Yeah.
all I wore. It didn't matter going to church, going to dinner, going on a date. That was like my outfit.
Yeah.
I just don't want to think about it. That's where Bristol's so good because I don't want to think about it. Like I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Like I'm wheeling and dealing all the time. I want to be comfy. I want to be consistent. I want to know, like everyone knows. But she is like the accessory queen. I mean, but that's why she has her boutique. I mean, if I was going to a Taylor Swift concert or if I lived in Texas or if I was just like not an athleisure girly, I would be on her boutique every day. I'm buying that black dress that she had though.
Yeah. You know what's funny
Vegas.
is, we did that last minute trip to Vegas. And I said, it's all casual wear. We're not dressing up. We're nothing. And then she's loading everything up and loading her bag up. And she's got all these nice clothes. And I'm like, what are you doing with that? This is jeans, sweats, tennis shoes. And she's like, well, I have to take pictures.
I'm so obsessed with her, but that's what I'm saying. But that's like almost like girl math too. It's even like my suitcase thing that happened yesterday. That was girl measuring.
Girl measuring. You need to talk about that too, because that was pretty damn funny.
So this is hysterical. So I go to the airport, as you know. I sent my mom home with like my tried and true suitcase that I bring on all my business trips for forever. I've had this thing for like 7 years. So I was like, you know what? I might as well just like get a new one. Like it's been to all the places. Like let's get a new something to, pull around.
Girl math.
I'm on the phone. I'm looking at all the suitcases. Again, no measurement. It has measurements on it. I'm not like Googling the compliance of like TSA. None of that. Airlines, none of that. I'm measuring it up to where it goes on my hip to think of like, oh, this is totally a carry-on, 100%. So I'm like measuring and I'm like, maybe it's like an inch or two higher, but like it's fine, right? Show up at the airport, have my cute little duffel bag, have like my little suitcase, and I'm like wheeling up to, get on the clear line. The lady's like, what the hell are you doing? You can't bring that suitcase on the flight. And I'm like, sorry, right? Girl math, girl measuring. Like I go back. I'm like, I'm such a silly girl. Like this is too big, like whatever. And once I saw the suitcase.
In what it's supposed to fit in
front of the other like carry-on suitcases, we're talking about like a Sub-Zero versus a mini fridge. Like it's fucking huge. And I'm like, fuck, right? So I don't care. I like go check it, and it was actually nice because I checked the bag. It had like it was 28 pounds. My suitcase, I have nothing in it. Like I'm here for whatever. I have fat people pants on because we're gonna eat so good. Like I'm not gonna put on jeans or heels. So anyways, and I come back on the line, and I'm like, okay, I checked it. Ha ha ha. So I go to get on the clear line, but there's 3 ropes, right? This is like girl navigating an airport. Like, you know how there's like the memes of airport dads?
Yeah.
I need an airport dad now. That's
but they've made it confusing too.
They made it confusing. And I'm like not really paying attention. Like I'm checking emails. I just got yelled at by this lady, and then I totally was like, I'm totally an asshole. I have a Sub-Zero size suitcase instead of a mini fridge. Like, how did I have that happen? I think it's hysterical. Get on the line. 3 clear tapes. I get on the left side instead of the right side. Kind of looked like that was the way to go, and I saw people on the left side go through. So there was TSA pre-check. Then the clear line's right next to it, which is also like a bad idea because when you're thinking to yourself like I'm gonna cut the line, put them in like different areas because you're either one or the other.
Yep.
Anyways, go up. I'm on the left side. Now there's literally 3 inches between me and the line I'm supposed to go on. The lady's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And starts like screaming at me. And I looked back at her and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you screaming at me? And she's like, you don't have TSA pre-check. It's not on your ticket. I was like, I have clear. She's like, get on the clear line then. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's screaming at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, don't curse at me. I was like, don't fucking curse at me. You're the one who's working. And she's like, and I'm like, and I was like, this is why you work at an airport, which wasn't nice, but I'm sorry. I'm not at the fucking airport every day. I don't know what line to go on. Like, if I put you in front of my computer and said, run my company, would you know, bitch? No. So don't yell at me. I walked through TSA. It was the most pleasant TSA experience I've ever had. I looked at the clear guy. And I was like, that lady just screamed at me. And I'm like dying laughing because I was like, I screamed back. And then my clear picture came up and it's so hot. It's so good. It's like the best picture I've ever taken. It's like a government photo too, which makes me so proud because I got it taken in LA. I just got a blowout. So I'm like, look at my picture. I was like, look at that blowout. I was like, I know I don't have that hair right now, but think if
But
I
this
had
is
that
how it-
hair,
yeah.
if I had that hair and I yelled at her, it would have been so much cooler.
Yes.
And he was like dying laughing, go through TSA. It's like a breeze. You called. I was dying laughing, but that was like a girl, again, like everyone needs an airport dad, like a quality of a husband is an airport husband. I didn't think I needed that because I've done so much traveling by myself for work, especially. Now I think I need one. But yeah, the suitcase measurement and getting on the wrong line, that was pretty fucking funny.
That's hilarious. I just can't believe that you yelled at somebody. That's awesome.
It was the best thing I've ever done.
It's very therapeutic.
It was the best thing ever. I've never yelled at a stranger. I've yelled at like boyfriends or family or whatever, maybe
That's
a friend
different.
here or there.
Yeah.
When it's internal, it's so different because it hurts because you don't want to yell at someone because you care about them. When you yell at a stranger that deserves it, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yep. That feeling's just not there.
10 out of 10 recommend. Like now I'm afraid of myself because I'm so afraid I'm going to put myself, like I'm now going to buy the wrong suitcase and get on the wrong line just to get yelled at, just to scream back.
Just so you can feel better. You can go through that
I'm going to
therapy
like
session.
purposely do the wrong thing so someone calls me out so I could yell at them.
That's hilarious.
Girl math. Girl math. It's
Girl
honestly cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yelling at people.
And you just felt so much better. And then you came and then we had steak.
Oh, it was the best. That was so good. It's like the life of a Texan.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not always that way, you know.
What?
But it's inserted where you need it. It's not like that all the time. It's just only when you need those
What, to yell?
insertions of aggression and yelling. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have some yelling left in me.
You do?
Like I feel it in my chest.
So
like
we
it's
need to
like
find
here.
someone for you to yell at.
Yeah, or maybe just like I just probably just need to scream. I mean, I feel like
Okay.
there's so much room here in Texas. Like in South Florida, it's like you're sardined in. Like you can't have mental illness. Like you play Donna Summer's song like 3 times in a row and like your neighbors call the cops. You know, they're like something
Yeah.
wrong there.
You need to go check her out.
I need to go check. Actually, you know what's funny? The other day, my neighbor, who I never hear, she had Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars playing on repeat. And I texted her and I was like, I'm making cookies. Like, do you want one? Like, I purposely popped in cookies and because I'm like, is she going through a heartbreak? Like, why
Yeah.
does she have this song playing? She's like, oh, like I was in the shower, it was on repeat. Sorry. She had like all the sliders open. It was so funny. But I think here you could yell. Like, I could go in the woods and yell and like no one would care or hear me.
No. Yeah. No. There's definite room. But if you did get hurt, someone would be coming with a gun too to make sure that you're okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
we have to go far out so that you can do that.
Yeah.
Scare animals.
Yeah.
Yell at
Pig-
deer.
yeah,
Pigs.
pigs.
Animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chickens. Some chickens.
Girl
You can do
math.
that. Girl math.
It's cheaper than therapy. That's how I feel. Put yourself in the wrong line in an airport and scream back at the TSA agent. It will take your therapy bill down by at least $200 a month. Book a flight.
And then get a cold plunge.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, by the way, that I see. That was another girl math thing. Now when I go to the airport and I go into the Amex lounge and so for example, go to the Amex lounge, typical trip, I'm like, you know, whatever. On the way back, I'll go in, have like 3 mimosas before a flight, let's just say, or like 3 glasses of champagne and like a little snack. Airport math on that is like at least $120.
100%.
$200 all
Yep.
set. Like you get a snack, you get like a bag of chips, a water bottle, gum, peanut M&Ms at an airport. It's like $72 and like your child's like X chromosome. Like it is so fucked up. So girl math to me too is like when I go to the airport and I go to the Amex lounge and I don't pay, I mean I obviously always tip the you know people, but to me I'm like, oh my God, I'm saving thousands of dollars. So I could totally afford this blah blah blah. Girl math. I'm telling you. You don't think about that?
No, I need to record a lot of this. I guess this girl math thing is kind of like y'all's deal, asking us about
the Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire.
Well, my Roman Empire right now is why Dave Portnoy and Silvana broke up. Have you seen that? Do you know who that is?
Yes.
They broke up
did.
and she posted about it and she bought a Christmas tree. She bought like window stickers and she's like, now I don't know where to put it. Poor fucking girl. They have the dog Brody together. It was her dog, but it was living in the house. He got her a G-Wagon. Dave Portnoy's just going to dump her.
What's
He dumped
skinny?
her, and she posted something
Really?
last night, and she's like, guys, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm not looking for attention. It's different when you're getting dumped or
Yeah.
the dumpy. And I love Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
Like, everyone always thought, like, him and I were very similar, because, like, we don't give a fuck. We love pizza. Like, we like to be, like, crispy little chicken nuggets. Like, but, you know, but for him and Silvana to break up, I'm really upset.
I saw him when we met, a day before or a day after or what have you. He was at the one hotel with us. And,
with some
he was out
chippies,
there.
right?
I mean, he had a gaggle of them. You know, the girls were just following him. You know, and this was, I guess, when he was still single. I guess, you know, several years ago. But he also had a bunch of guys that were taking pictures with him constantly and stuff like that.
The fact that they broke up, like, she was apartment hunting. Like, my heart breaks for her. Like, I want to find her and, like, make her, like, chicken cutlets for life. Like, my heart hurts.
That's insane. But no reason why.
Not yet.
Not
it's
yet.
my Roman Empire. Like, he said nothing other than the fact that, like, confirmed that they did break up. She's on TikTok, you know, posting, like, it's my fucking page. Like, I'm going to post it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
But I am so devastated. I'm devastated. But you know what, though? I hope she's such a beautiful girl and she seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she calls him chicken. Like, get yourself a rooster now, bitch. Like, get yourself a rooster. Like, okay, you got dumped. Like, get yourself a rooster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go fuck around with the guy that owns Forbes now. Like, what's Barstool to Forbes?
Yeah.
Like, go do better.
Just to throw it in his face.
It's like not even that. It's like, okay, you got broken up with. Everyone's gotten dumped at sometimes. Relationships don't always work.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Like, okay, like, she called him chicken. Now she, like, imagine though, like, your nickname. I was thinking last night, again, Roman Empire. I'm like, she called him chicken. Every menu is going to, like, trigger her.
Yes.
There's
She'll never eat
chicken on
again.
every fucking Chinese food.
Yeah.
Chicken. Italian. Chicken.
She just needs to move to Texas. Just Bristol.
Yeah, me last night at the Brazilian steakhouse, I was like, do not bring chicken to this table. We will not be partaking.
We will only be partaking in red meat.
Mm-hmm. How
That's
fucked
amazing.
up is that they're broken up?
That's crazy. I did not hear
They
that.
have a house in Montauk together. I've seen them out in Montauk.
Really?
100%. They have a
thought they were
place in
getting married.
Miami. I thought that they were good, but like, in Dave's defense, why would Dave? I had a conversation with a guy last night who said, like, you know, I met the most perfect girl, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna settle.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, because I know if I walk into a room full of women, I'm not gonna get, like, have the shot. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be wanted by them, or I won't be able to want them. And my advice was, the girl you're with now is a campfire. Why are you gonna risk that for a firework? And he was like, that's so profound. You're so smart. And he's fucking smart as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
But think about that. Like, Bristol's your campfire.
Yeah,
Like, you
100%.
dated. It's like when think about it, barbecue, 4th of July, chilly out. You're sitting by the campfire. You got your cocktail. You're comfy. Everything's good. And you hear some noise going on in the background. It's the fireworks. You walk away. Okay, you see some cool things and, you know, whatever. But you blow your hand off. You're breathing in gunpowder. And it's done really quick, and you're cold, and you smell like gunpowder, and you just want to go back to your campfire. What the fuck is the point of a firework then? Put on the TV, watch it, Walt Disney fireworks, if you want a thrill, and then go back to fucking bed. I don't know what to
100%.
say.
No, it's true. And age brings that. You know, being in the bar industry at a younger age, 21 to 26, 27 years old, I did a lot. And I got it out of my system, and I understand, and I saw, the lives that the bar industry could destroy, right? And that's just something I would never jeopardize, especially now.
Your campfire.
100%.
Like, that's like your cozy, like it's constant warmth, it's constant comfort. Like, you could cook on it. You could toast a marshmallow. Like, it heats your house. Like, why are you going to risk that for a firework?
Makes total
It's
sense.
not worth it. And I think a lot of times, though, now, like, Dave Portnoy probably was living in Miami and was like, I want some fireworks.
Yeah.
But guess what? Now his girl that called him chicken is gone, and his fucking dog is gone. That's traumatizing.
And she can go find a rooster.
She's going to go find a fucking rooster. She is going to find a rooster, and I cannot wait.
That's hilarious. And I'm sure she'll throw it out there too. Or it will be thrown out there.
She's dating someone else?
Yeah.
And he's going to be like younger and hotter
Yeah.
and cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I mean, I love Dave. I'm a Dave.
Yeah.
I'm a Dave support. I love Dave, but I just hate that she got dumped. I'm a girl's girl like that.
Yeah.
So one other thing that like I really want to touch on is that you're not just like, you are so humble. You're like, I'll just build shit, you know, when that is not true at all. Like, you help so many other builders, and I feel like not enough people know that. And I know with our strategy, you're going to hit so many different people that, you know, are going to want to have to talk to you. And I just kind of want, again, you to put it out there on the record that you're willing and able to help anyone in the space navigate through these uncharted times, you know, or they might just not know better. And you are the best person to collaborate with.
I appreciate it very much. You know, something we're going to start doing again that we've done in the past, but making it a little bit more apparent, is we're going to start a mentorship program, you know, for young builders, for builders out there looking for equity, looking for money, looking at different ways to finance their products. We can help with that. We can also help mentor you through your project and some of this legacy style building that we're talking about. I want to be able to help you grow your business and become that legacy type builder that you can be, and use what you do to your benefits. There's a lot of people that do it out there, and there's a lot of people that claim they do it out there, but they haven't been doing it for as long as most of us old folks now considered, or old timers, you know. Look at the people that you're doing business with. Look at these mentors that you may be buying programs out of. Have they done it? How many houses have they built? How you know, prosperous have they been? Can they actually add value to your life and to your business? You need to stick with those that have done it in the past. And that's something that we will be offering very soon. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. Is this something that you're interested in? Because I would love to help you grow your business, find that equity, find those investors, and help you underwrite projects to do the same things that I have done over the past few years.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's super important is like, even if you're not the person that even owns a business yet, if you're still swinging a hammer, I mean, you swung a hammer for a long time. And I think that that's important too. It's like, sometimes people don't know how to get to that next step, where to find the money, how to start an LLC. Do I do an S Corp? Do I do this? How do I set up even the back end of a business, especially the business that you're in? You know, 9 times out of 10, maybe the guys were like, fuck college and didn't want to go to college, and they don't know this stuff, and they might not have the best resource, or how do you not make the mistakes that you did, you know? And I think it's huge. I'm excited. Masterclass with Mike.
Yes, no, that's a great point that you made. You know, college isn't for everybody. I did about 1.5 years, almost 2 years worth of college, and found out it just wasn't for me. And we're at a shortage now for blue collar guys. You know, we've become a society of convenience. No one knows how to fix a toilet. No one knows how to do anything. So if you are in that service industry and you're providing a service that most don't know how to do, you will always be employed. Someone's always going to need power. Someone's always going to need something fixed. People are going to need places to live. And you want to be the one actually giving that service to those individuals, and you will never be out of work. Those are industries that aren't going away, you know. So be involved in an industry like that, you know, and you can prosper very well from those things.
So awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. It was great having you. We've got you here for a couple of days, so we're going to feed you well.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. The first time I ever finished a steak was in Austin. I ate a whole steak. That was crazy.
Yeah. And barbecue. You had barbecue,
oh my God,
too.
Terry Black's. That was.
Yeah.
I feel like I wish I ate more there.
And
donuts here.
Yeah.
Like everything is so good.
It is.
That's why I thank God you have the collective.
Yeah. No, I've got
to like keep it in check.
100%, you know.
Yeah.
As I get older, you know, start packing it on a little bit more around the waist and stuff. Always been a gym rat, but I've got to be around for those that depend on me.
Yeah. When does the Pouch 6 open in collective?
We're hoping end of the month. We're going to run through some trial through the month of December, but then by the first of the year, we'll be up and running. So we're super stoked about that. If you're currently a member of the collective, get a hold of us. You can either email myself or even directly with Pouch 6 as well. We want to talk to you. We want to get you in this environment to understand what you can do. We're here to help. We want to help promote you, have a personal brand. It's something fun too. You know, I never thought that I'd be doing something like this, but I enjoy it. Get a hold of us, either DM us or reach directly out to Pouch 6 as well, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thanks, guys.